All right. Well, this is going to be my first video, music-wise, on actual doing music things. So, what I wanted to do was take you through my sketching process so I can kill two birds with one stone. The first being sketching a song out, because I need to do that more. And then the second is doing one of my 30 videos. So this is, I think, 28 or 29. So I only got a few more to go. And I thought maybe these last ones would be fun or interesting to watch. Maybe not. Who knows? Anyways, going to do it anyways. So before we get started, sketching. This is a new concept that I had heard about recently over the past couple of months, and I know a lot of good musicians or good producers do this, where they are sketching or kind of doodling an idea and they will do a lot of them, and then from those ideas, then you'll take maybe one of your two favorite ones from kind of your batch of sketches and then make those into full-fledged songs instead of trying to always get a full song from start to finish. I'm assuming this can be used for any genre whatsoever, as long as you kind of have in mind what you are going for. So for me, I like dance music and I make dance music, so I'm going to be using this for EDM production. However, you could change up some of these things and have that be kind of like your starting point to sketch like hip-hop beats or pop songs or whatever you're trying to do. So this is my default template, so it looks different than the default template, obviously. So this is something that I came up with, that I've taken inspiration from other people and from how I've been making music for the past year to kind of get into the kind of groove or flow or whatever that you're trying to do or that I'm trying to do quickly. So I have a few MIDI tracks, one being this melody. I have a second MIDI, which I have like this lute preset. So for those of you who don't know, my name for production is Questgiver, because I enjoy Renaissance-y music and I enjoy D&D. So I thought it would be very fitting to use some sort of lute instrument. Turns out I really like the sound of it because it's almost like a guitar anyways. So I use the loop preset on basically all my stuff because for me, I want to be including that type of sound. I have very quick, this is just a kick loop that I have, and you guys can't hear that. Okay, so I just cut because you couldn't hear my audio, and then I figured out that it was the Ableton setting where you couldn't hear my audio. So, not really super sure how to fix that in the long term. Whatever. So, the kick. I have these drums already programmed, so I don't have to do anything. So, I like house music, so this is a 4 on the floor beat. Very simple. And also, yeah, it's just a kick that I like. And then I have a snare also on all the off beats. So this is what it sounds like together. And then I also have a little hi-hat thing that I thought was interesting and fun. So this is what it's like all together. think I need to turn this down a little bit. Whatever. I apologize if that's very loud. Anyways, so we have that stuff. This is a side chain trigger, which is, I have a shaper box here. So the way that this works is my side chain is being sent to the instruments. So whenever there is a bass playing, you can hear that pulsing. So I will do an 8-bar, just so, that's going to sound horrible. All right, we'll shift these down, and you can't hear that because of this. Okay. Or it's just not gonna do that. I thought it was side chaining. Oh boy. Well, it's not necessary at the moment. So, yeah, whenever I want to figure out the side chain, then I will do that. So I have all that stuff set up. I have this bass patch that is one of the Serum presets that I like, and I think I changed maybe a couple things on it. And then I have the grand piano, which is, so I have whatever the max version of Ableton Live. This is 11. So anyways, I have that, which is included. Serum is not included, but you could just use whatever bass you like. If you have some sort of operator patch that you really enjoy, throw that on as your bass, or if you have a different plugin that you make your basses out of, whatever. So the whole thing is basically using sounds that you like that can kind of get you into the groove pretty quickly. So for me, it's the bass, and I have the bass, the effects, and the melody all under the instruments group. So whenever I figure out the side chain for Shaper Box, it will pump the bass, and I will have all that set up. So every time I open a new version, new live set, no, I don't want to save, it comes with this already loaded. So the idea of sketching is taking an 8-bar, 16 or 32 bar loop and kind of creating an idea that you can go through. I'm horrible at explaining this. That's okay. So right now we have a 16-bar loop. 16 bars is just arbitrary, but it's whatever you want to make for the style of music. I have the BPM at 130. No reason for that. I enjoy kind of faster dance music though, so I have it at a higher house tempo. But you could have yours default to 120 or 80 or 160, depending on what type of beats or music you enjoy making. So yeah, once I have that, I will create a MIDI track, and I am going to use the piano roll for all of this for the moment. So yeah, to create that, highlight, and then for me it is the Control Shift and M button. On Macs, I'm sorry, I don't know what it is. I think it's Control Option or Option Shift M. But yeah, Then I switch all my grid to 1 bar. So that means that whenever I'm writing a note, it's going to go for the full bar instead of however long it normally defaults to. I think mine defaults to 1/16. So like it's kind of annoying to have to click it and then drag it out, and then click it and drag it out, and click it and drag it out. So I set everything to 1 bar because that's where I like to start at. And then I already have my tempo or BPM, so I will leave my BPM at 130. And then I figure out what music I want, or what key I want to produce in today. So we will say that today is going to be an E major day. There is no reason why I'm picking E major. If you have a key that you really like music-wise, you can already have all this stuff loaded and just kind of save it as your default template. So every time that you open it, you have the key that you like and whatnot. That's up to you. I don't particularly enjoy doing that. So I have mine set up this way. So something that's really nice is when you press the scale button, and this is just from it being a MIDI track that you put on, and you have the E major, then it gives you, in using this scale here, it gives you all of the notes that fall on the E major scale. So since I said that we are going to start with the E major scale, I'm going to plot out the root E major chord, which starts on the E and is, 1 step above within the scale. So if you have everything rolled up, you basically are just putting 1 note. There's 1 note in between each of these, and then that's like your major 5 chord. So once I have that chord, then it just goes to placing more chords down. So see, there might be a progression that you enjoy. And I'm just haphazardly putting them down there. I actually want to, and also, so the way that I'm doing this is if you select the chord, if you press the control or option button and click and drag, you can basically just be dragging the chords. So this is what I'll do until I find something that I enjoy. So I'm just going to do this quick, and then we'll figure it out from there. All right, so we'll just see how this 8 bars sounds so far. So I really like that one. All right, so we'll just see how this goes. Okay. So I think this is a fine start. And I will just go through this as if I really enjoyed this. So one of the other things, so I'm changing this back to quarter notes. I would like to kind of add some I'd like to add some other kind of steps in these chords to kind of make the melody feel more interesting and not so just blah of like one bar, one bar, one bar, one bar. So there are a couple places, so like right at the end, so at 16 or like at this 8 bar, I'll probably add a little something here, and this will help kind of add movement to so I'm sorry, I am like I kind of like this chord before to lead back into the music. So all right, so there are 2 spots to add that. There's no particular reason why. I think this chord here, like I wanted a little something more to get it to there, which is the 3rd chord there, but maybe we'll do the 4th in here too. As I'm doing this, I'm like, sorry, it is really hard. Oh man, it is really hard to talk through your thought process while I'm trying to do this. But there are kind of these spots where it's like, I want something else to be happening. You know, normally if you're looking at this and if you're looking at this in like a 4 bar loop here, it is nice to have these spots like I said before, to break it up, whether you're kind of using half notes to lead into the next. So instead of going from this F sharp, A, C sharp chord into this B chord here, adding a step in there makes it more interesting than just going from this to this after 4 beats or whatever. So I will just leave this for now, and we'll say, oh wow, this sounds amazingly good, even though it doesn't at the moment. So say you find kind of the 16 bar progression and you think, wow, this is amazing. I've added some of these notes here, or I've changed some of the chords, added some more chords in the terms of half notes instead of whole notes. We added some quarter notes to make it more interesting as well. And then you want to make sure that it kind of loops back into itself. Which it does. I'm a little iffy about that still, but whatever. You have everything that you want. So now we need to make the bass line, which is very easy. So we have our chords, which are the first one. And I'm just holding down Shift and selecting all of the root notes that we made with all of our chords. All right. And I will Control Copy and Control Paste. So I pasted them on top of themselves. And now if I hold Shift and press the down key, it makes the copy of them move down. So I like 2 steps usually for the bass to be below. And now we have this. Well, we have this. Wow, that is awesome. All right, so we have the bass notes. These are in root position. So doing this before we do the chord inversions is going to be the important thing. Okay, so now that we have all of the root notes labeled down, we're going to start moving the notes of the chords around to make them flow easier. Here, this is what I'll do. I will duplicate this so we can hear it. And this is the before. Before. Well, that should have been this one. Whatever. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to be shifting these notes up and down so that all of the notes are kind of touching. It's the easiest way, or the way that I think about it. And if all of the notes are touching somewhat, then it's going to sound nice, flowing into each other. And I think this leads... All right, so this is what we just had. All right, and now this is what we have. of the pumping. I don't get it. All right. Oh, right. Okay. Whatever. We'll duplicate this. See if you can still hear the pumping. Probably. Okay. So the before. And now. So the difference is pretty small. And actually, I should just do this. We'll move the bass line here, because this is what's really, this is like the bass line is what grounds it or whatever. So the before one more time. Okay. So, as you can see, the notes are easier to play together. Well, this should be. Oh no. I don't know if I want to do all of that. Okay. So. So you might not be able to tell much of a difference. However, it is a lot easier on the brain, I feel like, as well as if you were going to give this song to a person to have them play, some of these, or this way of playing with the inverted notes would be much simpler for the person to play. It's not necessarily saying it's better or worse. That is how we have been taught to do it at Icon. So that's how I'm going to do it forever, probably, or at least a while. So the bass also, so the reason why we do the bass first is now it's kind of hard to tell what the root note is for all of these chords. If you don't really remember how you moved them, then it becomes difficult to understand where the root note is. So that's why we pull it down before we invert the chords. And we'll just say that, oh, I really like that. So now I have the bass notes and I have all of my chords that I like, the kind of mid section melody area. But now I would like to add some sort of hook or motif to all my chords. So it kind of depends on how you want. Sometimes I will do 8th notes or 16th notes, and I will put in a kind of like a little rhythm. So we'll say sorry, I'm trying to get this. So we'll say also a good place to start on these 4 kind of like your top melody, using the same notes that are in the chord is always a decent starting point. So we'll do that. And I'm just kind of placing notes. A idea that I kind of try to go by is you want some sort of like repetition in terms of the beat or kind of groove of how this melody or motif is going to go. So, if you want like all the sections to kind of be the same, I'm just going to move this over here just so I don't forget it for the time being. But say you want to keep kind of the structure 3 times, and then the 4th time you want to change. You kind of want to change how it goes. Actually, that's a bad example. So we'll change up. How that goes. All right, and this is probably not going to sound great, but we can kind of fix it here in a second. That's actually not bad, but that leads into something else. So I think this first one's fine. And then maybe we can shift it down, starting at kind of the A. We'll see how this sounds. That sounds alright. We'll move it up one, see if that's any better. I don't really like that. So we'll go down one. And we'll kind of skip to the theme where we're continuing to go down. But I also don't like them continually going down. So maybe we'll change up this 3rd one and we'll see how this goes. All right. That sounds okay. I think this would be good here, though. This will end on a E8. Okay. So that resolved kind of weird while we continue to go into something else. So I'm just going to switch it up, and yeah, we'll see if I like the going up kind of instead. Yeah, so I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain this, but I want this 4 to lead into kind of the 5 here, or what I have in the 5th measure, and because we're kind of resolving, if we end on this A here, we're like wrapping a nice little bow on top of this motif. However, we have a 16 bar thing here, so we don't want to be wrapping it up here. Maybe we can wrap it up here at the 8, but it might only be on the 16 where we're kind of wrapping it up, so to speak. So I'll try this real quick, and yeah, we'll go from there. I'm not going to spend too much more time on this because this is, holy cow, a long video already, and we're almost done, but not really there yet. So yeah, we'll try this real quick and we'll go from. So this section is changing, so maybe I want to give this little melody structure a break. I kind of liked this, what we were doing here, so maybe we'll use this kind of structure, the 3/8 notes and then a long half note. But because I like this and we want some repetition in our melodies or in our music, I'm just going to copy and paste that over to the second session. We will have to probably change these notes and whatnot. That's okay. The notes are not really the thing that are interesting. It is the rhythm of the notes, or how we have kind of the chord and then the notes being played, in my opinion. All right, well, let's yeah, we'll use this, and this might sound horrible, but oops, sure, we'll try B, and then we go down to or up to, let's see. We'll see how this sounds, and we might change it. And then this could probably stay that. We'll see how this sounds. Yeah, and now this thing that I liked before doesn't really work, and that's okay, but we'll get rid of it. And sure, we'll just say we really like this, and we'll keep it going. We'll see how this sounds. Man, this sounds weird too now. How about we try this one? All right, and now these are off because we have different chords than they were up front. So we will fit these into here. So it's a C and F. So what I'm looking for is this bottom note here will correspond to a root note here. And because of the inversion, so this was up here, but we brought it down. But because of this, I'm looking at the root note, which is the F sharp here. We'll see if this is good. Alright, so we'll just throw that there for now. This was okay, but this should go I'm not really sure how this is going to sound, but it's okay. All right, well, we'll check out what this says. And this is kind of weird because it's like it is a transition kind of back to the start. Not really sure how I feel about that. But yeah, I'm going to delete this before. So we'll listen to what I have currently. Like I said, I would spend more time probably going into this to kind of like figure out a melody or something that I enjoy. About every 4 bars or so is kind of like a good amount of time before something changes. Like that's kind of like the rule in dance music. Like every 4 bars something changes. Obviously the chords are changing, but you know, maybe it will sound nice for kind of this A section here to a B section here in terms of rhythm, and then the A section rhythm again to the B section rhythm again. Again, not the notes, but the rhythm of the notes is kind of what we were taking from this. So we'll see how this whole thing sounds at the moment. Yeah, I would probably mess around with this a little more, but whatever. You get the idea. So we have our kind of 3 sections, right? But it's all rolled up into the piano roll. There was something I heard from Phineas. For those of you who don't know who Phineas is, it is Billie Eilish's brother who basically produces almost all of her music. And he's an amazing producer. And one of the things that he said that I have taken to heart, which is if it sounds good on the piano, it's probably going to sound good on anything else. So the idea here is we have something that sounds kind of good on the piano roll itself, and then we can kind of extrapolate those pieces into different parts or into different musical instruments, depending on your tastes and what you like. So now I'm going to save it. I have my little sketch folder here, my sketch projects, and at the moment I don't have a good way for how I save my projects. I don't really know, but what I'm doing is sketch the number on the sketch that I'm doing, and then I am putting now at the end of it the scale that we are in case, so A major or E major, in case I want to, for some reason, go back and look at sketches that only have a certain key type. I don't know. And then I'll save it. So now we have our sketch saved, and we can take that and put it to, different instruments. So what you can do if you want to is literally just mute the piano track. For me, I have this loop, like I said, loop preset that I found on Splice, and I like how it sounds, so I'm just going to copy that here. We muted this so we won't hear it anymore. And now this is just the lute, and I'll play that for you. So it sounds all right. Honestly, this probably is a sketch that I won't use. I think it sounds okay. Obviously, you can spend as much time or not as it, but this whole process and whatnot, the sketching idea is creating something long enough for you to understand what it could sound like. And then if you want to take it into a different or finish it out, then you have the ability to do so. Or if you're like me and you're like, oh, this is kind of trash and I'm not going to use it again, but you want to get your idea out, this is a way for you to do that without investing too much time, because it's been about 50 minutes. A lot of it's been me talking, and some of it's been me troubleshooting. All right, so we have this, and then it's just, if you want the super easy mode, you can copy and you can paste it into the bass, and then we're gonna delete all of the mid notes, so we just have the bass here, which is like this. Yeah, and I mean, you can go through and change the bass line up if you want a little bit. In here now, because we have the bass, we don't necessarily need the bass here. It'll just be fighting for room, so we can get rid of it. Or if you want to, you can just delete it. It's honestly not a big deal, because we do have it saved up here in the piano roll, which is the full thing. So then it looks a little more like this. But also, if there was, say you wanted a new MIDI track, and you wanted Serum, well, I have Serum in here. Say you wanted the lute part to be on this, and then you wanted this, this is going to be horrible, saw wave, to just be like a really harsh, okay, actually I'll just, all right, if you're like, oh, I want a cute little synth wave, I don't know, sound, then you'll delete these notes because we no longer need the lead here, and you have just the chords. So yeah, and now after just doing those things in here, if we really wanted to, we could take out these mids too. I like the mids of the lute, so we'll see what it sounds like with it in. So now you have your sketch done, and that's it. You can, from here, if you're like, oh, I think it would sound really cool if I had some loops, so you can go into your favorite drum loop solo, and you're like, oh man, I really want some shakers, so I'm gonna put shakers here, and then and you can do that for whatever you want. If you want to add toms, or literally whatever you want to do, you can do. But this is just to give you a starting point of what your 16 bars is kind of going to sound like, and this most likely will be like the drop or chorus or whatever of the song. And then you can figure out how you want to arrange it from there. So this is the sketch thing that I did. Like I said, it's pretty bad. I don't really like it. Probably not going to use it, but I hope that the idea, you're able to, or I was able to get the idea across in a very long-winded way. So I appreciate anyone who's sticking around for this whole video, because holy cow, it was long. And I should probably be more precise. And in the future, I probably will be, just not when I'm doing the 30-day challenge of me making a video once a day for 30 days. I said no editing, so I'm going to edit a troubleshooting thing. But other than that, it's the whole video. So, yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye. See ya.